Well, I think everybody's thoughts are very much with the survivors, their families, obviously those who look back on the loss of those 52 lives with a great deal of pain. But I think the great thing about London 10 years after the bombings is that, you know, those terrorists did not change the city in the way that they thought that they would. And no matter how much pain and how many wounds that they gave, they didn't win.
No, but we should be mindful of the words of the boss of MI5, who's in the papers this morning, saying there's a very real chance that this could happen again.
Absolutely, and I was going to go on to say, you know, London remains, you know, the most dynamic, the most cosmopolitan. It's the capital of the world. The values of the city haven't remotely changed. But as you rightly say, there remains a serious threat. There are probably, you know, in the low thousands of people that we have to monitor, that we have to observe, and that's a very serious risk the whole time.
Do you share the view of some who've expressed the opinion that the Muslim community should be doing more to help us identify those who would do us harm?
Look, I think that it's up to everybody who's bringing up kids who might be at risk of this kind of radicalization to identify them, to make the police, the social services, the authorities of whatever description aware of the problem that they've got. Because you're not only helping yourself and your family, you are potentially saving the life of that kid and indeed of others. So I would urge everybody, if you think your kid, if you think you know people in your family who are being radicalized by this nonsense, dob them in. Dob them in.
Isn't it also perhaps vital, as many people would suggest, that we should all, particularly politicians like yourself, should ask yourselves questions about why this has happened, and ask yourselves the question, are we at least to some extent to blame for going into Afghanistan, for going into Iraq?
Can I just say, I think that is absolutely the wrong line of argument. I think the minute you get into exculpation of this kind of terrorism on the basis of what may or may not have happened in international engagements, in foreign wars, in Palestine or whatever, you are letting too many people off the hook. You're letting too many people off the hook. This is a toxic ideology that is transmitted very largely over the web now, that needs to be dealt with, that needs to be fought. And it needs to be fought by families, by social services, by the police, and yes, by religious leaders, by people in the Muslim community.